Farirai Sanyika, and I am the founder and director of Gofari. I mostly grew up in cities. I was mostly in Durban and Johannesburg. After completing my chemical engineering degree at UCT, I was sent off to stay and work in a small industrial town called Secunda, which is in Mpumalanga. And honestly, I felt doomed. I felt like my life was over. A colleague of mine told me about a place called God's Window and showed me a photo of bauxite potholes. And then I came across an image of Blind River Canyon on Instagram, and I was completely shocked and amazed that, whoa, this is in South Africa and I don't know about it. On one long weekend, instead of doing the usual trip to Johannesburg, I decided to drive a bit deeper into the province. And I spent a long weekend exploring the panorama routes. I remember spending the day going to check out the waterfalls, seeing God's Window, visiting bauxite potholes as my colleague had told me about. And then the day had now come to almost an end. It was around late 5:30 and Blind River Canyon was going to close. And I remember getting there just before it closed and running from the parking, running to find this viewpoint that I'd seen on Instagram. And then suddenly there I was, standing before the third largest canyon in the world at sunset. And I was completely humbled and in that moment. And I remember thinking to myself, what else am I missing? What else is there out there that I'm not experiencing because I've been so narrow-minded about sticking to what I know and what I'm comfortable with. And for me, I always look back to that moment as the moment which sparked Gofari. That was the moment I decided to create a travel website, Gofari.com, where I travel South Africa and I encourage other people to do the same thing too. On Gofari.com, I write about different destinations in South Africa, and I like to focus on destinations that we hear less about. And I go a step further, not just only making people aware that these places are out there, but I give advice in terms of how to plan a trip to go there, things to think about, and how to budget for the trips, etc. When you browse through my Instagram and all my social media pages and also my website, you'll notice that most of the destinations that I cover are South African destinations or African destinations. And sometimes people ask me, why are you not showing us, some of the other international places you've been to? Because I've been to Denmark, Sweden, I've been to Thailand, etc. And the thing is, I realized the power of a story and your story, and my story is an African story, and your story is the best story that you can tell. So I like to stick with who I am, who I truly am, what I know best and what I can tell the best. So that's the one reason. The second reason is that Africa is delicious, it's beautiful, it's rich, it's got so much that we need to share and talk about. So besides it being who I am, it's what I genuinely enjoy writing about and sharing about. My biggest milestone through Gofari was after starting my group travel business in 2018, which is a group travel business that offers premium group trips for women to African destinations. And I say premium because they're well organized, we are living in luxury, living our best lives, you have a host to guide you through the trip. And yeah, they've always done an intimate group, so everybody has, that attention from the guide. For me, the very first group trip that I did, which was to Mauritius, was the most special for me because there were women on that trip who were traveling out of South Africa for the very first time, and they trusted Gofari with that experience. And I'll always value that and look back at that and smile that I was able to kick off women's journeys to the world. Gofari collaborates with different brands, travel-related brands, services and products. Some of the brands I've worked with include Nedbank, South African Tourism, and South African Airways. And I found that with my collaborations, I really like to stick to travel-related products and services. My favorite destinations in South Africa have to be places within Mpumalanga province and the Eastern Cape. So since I've already touched on my first experience in Mpumalanga, let me speak a little bit more about the Eastern Cape. So for me, I find that Eastern Cape's landscapes are so unique and different to anywhere else. What comes to mind is being in Tsitsikamma and walking over the suspension bridge over the dark waters of the Storms River, entering the Indian Ocean. It's just beyond incredible. The other thing for me is the untouched coastlines of the Wild Coast, and just like how scenically magnificent they are and how quiet they are. I have traveled South Africa extensively, but still I have not been to the Northern Cape, and it really bugs me. So I have to say that my next destination in South Africa that I'm really looking forward to visiting is the Northern Cape. And in terms of who's coming with me, you know how I go. I'm going. If you want to come, let's go. If you're interested in traveling and improving your travel skills so that you can dodge expenses like I do, I really encourage you to join my mail list. So you can do that by subscribing to Gofari.com. And yeah, I'll teach you my ways.